Hello and good evening. I see Rico is already in the chat, so it'd be awesome if he can confirm if audio is alright. Alright, I'll give it a minute more to see if other people will join, and then we will get started with round 4 of season 15, which is hosted at Watkins, Glen, and this is tier 6. Well, I think I've given it enough time, so let's get started. Having a quick look at the champion standings before we start off round 4. Last we left tier 6. JP was leading the championship after Suzuka with 109 points, and Aurak was hot on his tail with 96 points. Zelda close behind on 79. So the top 3-4 drivers are actually very close in terms of points, and the championship is very far from decided in either way. In the Constructor Championships, McLarens are actually leading with 167, BMW team is at 150, and the Nissan GTR team is at 113 points. So it'll be interesting to see how the championship battles unfold in round 4 here at Watkins Glen. Coming off of qualifying for the sprint race, in 15th position we have Airtown Jenna. In 14th position we have Inorganic. 13th place is for Nico Swagarelli with the AMG. 12th place is for IGF. 11th for his teammate Dana's, both of them in the Renault cars. 10th place for Lord Hans with the M6. HK has qualified in 9th place with the Mazda. His teammate Krakovelli right ahead of him in 8th position. 7th place for Zelda in the GTR. Danger Mouse with the McLaren in 6th position. Chaos Druid with the Lexus in 5th. Aurak is the lead McLaren in 4th position. Rocket with a fantastic qualifying. I believe this is his second race in ALR with the Lamborghini. In 2nd place, we have our championship leader, JP with the M6, and Elest William in 1st place with the Lexus. So, without further ado, let's get started with the sprint race. 9 laps here at Watkins Glen, as we have 5 lights, and away they go. Seem to be a pretty strong start from the McLarens. Aurak is already on the inside of JP, nearly going 3 wide there, but JP manages to take the lead off of the McLarens. A few cars went wide there at the back, but didn't see too much damage. As we see, William fell down to 3rd position after the first corner and is already trying to get back 2nd place off of Aurak, who was very much in the slipstream of JP. Rocket is hot on their tails as well, so the first 4 cars are very close to each other. Keeping it nice and clean here. William is not letting Aurak get any kind of lead and tries to go around the outside, but that's just not happening so far. I can see Rocket behind this trying to find a way past as well. So Aurak so far a big winner, managing to jump up to 2nd place. As we see Bit of a penalty cert for Danger Mouse. Probably turn 1 went wide a bit. So this is all working out pretty good for JP. In the lead, probably has, I would say, about half a second lead at the end of lap 1, maybe a second. And as we watch William in the Lexus stay completely glued to the back of the McLaren of Orac. A bit further down, Zelda has made it up into 5th position and HK is in 6th, so a couple of positions gained for HK. Chaos Druid is in 10th place and we see Lord Hands actually... Oh, let's see what happened here. Bit of a moment in turn 1. I think it was Airtown Jenna, so let's have a look. So from 11th position, Chaos Druid has a look on the inside. So it was actually Chaos Druid and Crackavelli that had a bit of a moment. Let's ride on board actually just and see if we'll be able to spot what happens here. So Chaos Druid has a look on the inside, brakes late, thinks a bit better of it, but on the outside, contact with Crackavelli. Airtown Jenna absolutely suffers from it. The two GSR cars suffered as well, a lot of penalties, so quite a bit of mayhem here in turn 1. As we'll resume a bit with the race leader JP extending his gap over Orac. So far the tires of both cars seem pretty good, but we were kind of expecting the McLaren to be a lot better on the tires on this track. William is still sitting very close by in 3rd position, trying to force a mistake out of Orac. And Rocket has dropped just a little bit off of William, but this might be just maybe waiting out to see what will happen ahead. HK all over the back of Zelda now, in the slipstream with the Mazda, and bit of contact there at the braking for the hairpin. However, not much comes out of it, no issues with that one, and Danger Mouse is very close to HK as well in this battle. Bit further down we see Chaos Druid is in 8th position now and Lord Hands is very close by in 9th position. Yeah, the first 7 cars seem to be forming a pack of their own following that incident. As we will try and see what's happening, William has dropped off a bit of Orac's back, and this has kind of led him into the clutches of the Lamborghini 4th place. It'll be interesting to see if Rocket will be able to do anything with the slipstream here. Nothing much on the straight, as we see HK have a 1.5 seconds penalty, must have had a wide moment there. As we see William had a bit of a moment. Let's see if this was just a mistake or it was forced in some way. Yeah, just an unfortunate mistake wide out of the chicane, and this gives a couple of positions to Rocket and Zelda to go ahead of him. And now HK is stuck a bit behind him, but won't be able to make anything out of it because of that 1.5 seconds penalty. Further up the field, JP has a comfortable lead now, about a second and a half I would wager. Tires seem to be noticeable now, just a little bit worse than the McLaren's, but it's a short race, only 9 laps, so I don't think tires will be a factor here for the win. Rocket has been able to gain quite a lot on Orac following Williams' moment. Let's just stay with this battle for a little bit, then we'll check further down the order if we've missed anything more exciting. Takes advantage of the slipstream before turn 1, but doesn't make any moves. Prefers to use the long straight here before the bus stop chicane. Very close by to that McLaren, and the Lamborghini should be able to overtake it fairly straightforward, as Zelda has a penalty. Aurak goes defensive, covers the inside line before the chicane. Rocket is side by side with him, but brakes just a bit earlier. Decides to keep it fairly safe. Nearly has a bit of a wide moment there, but still very much glued to the back of that McLaren. Danger Mouse has managed to get past William as well, and currently holds 5th position. Will probably turn that into 4th after Zelda serves his penalty. HK has another 2nd penalty. Very unfortunate for him, had a fantastic start there in the first lap, but now dropping a bit backwards due to these penalties. 8th position for him. As we see Lord Hands being overtaken by Nico Swagarelli. And as we see Crackavelli, Inorganic and Airtown Jenna very close by in the fight for 12th position, and actually Airtown Jenna has a wide moment, and that costs him 2 positions to both Inorganic and Crackavelli. Coming back to our race leader here, we see the gap continues just slightly extending. Expected a bit with the M6 on this track. Definitely has a good advantage on the straights with the top speed. But we see that Rocket has fallen a bit off of the back of Aurak. And now maybe Aurak will be able to focus up and try and chase down JP, so we'll see how that goes. Danger Mouse in the 2nd McLaren, so far so good. 4th position, trying to catch up to Rocket ahead of him, maybe see if he can challenge for a podium. Zelda again very close to Chaos Druid, but again a 1 second penalty, and this time HK will inherit 7th position easily off of Zelda, and hopefully if these two can keep it clean, they can actually start catching up to the cars ahead. As we see, Lord Hands have now a comfortable lead in 9th position ahead of 10th place, as Swagarelli had a penalty of his own that had to serve. Lap 5 of 9 now, so we're at the midpoint of this sprint race. The fastest lap is currently held by Rocket with the Lamborghini 1:45.7. As we see JP lapping into the 46s. The last 2 laps were a bit slower, but still fairly consistent. That front left tire is suffering a bit though. Compared to that, Aurak is slowly but surely gaining a couple of tenths per lap, and the tires on the McLaren, as expected, look a bit better. Rocket has essentially had 2 worse laps, so set the fastest laps on lap 3, but 1:47 after that, so dropping off of the back of Aurak little by little. And Danger Mouse into the 1:46s should be catching up slightly to Rocket, but there's still probably a couple of seconds lead there. As we see, HK has gotten past Chaos Druid, so let's see Where did that happen? So, a bit further back off of the back of Chaos Druid into the chicane. Let's see what happens. Chaos Druid has a wide moment, much like William, and HK says thank you very much and grabs 6th position off of him. As this time around, none of these cars have penalties to serve, so they're in direct fight for these positions now. Everyone further back has kind of been gapped a little, as Inorganic is not having a good time with a 2-second penalty in last position currently. As we take a look at the lead, it'll be interesting to see what the lap time now will be by JP and see is Aurak actually gaining. The front left tire is about halfway done, but we're now closing off around lap 6, so should be able to finish comfortably on those tires, but yeah, tire wear will introduce a bit of a drop-off maybe. 146.7 by JP and 146 flat by Aurak, so that's 7/10 gain just on this one lap, so Aurak is definitely closing in. Rocket had a bit of a better lap into the high 46s, but 1.5 seconds penalty probably from turn 1, so unfortunate for him. This will give a great opportunity to Danger Mouse, lapping similar lap times to Rocket, but now we'll be able to profit from that mistake. As we see, William in 5th place had a few bad laps there, but now the last one was his best so far, 46.2, so gaining ground a bit as well. HK has managed to keep it so far clear off of Chaos Druid behind, and the positions have been stabilized a bit, it seems, throughout the whole field. As we'll have a bit of a look here, let's see what happened. So Rocket serves that 1.5 seconds penalty, has an advantage over Danger Mouse, keeps the inside line and stays on the defensive line on the inside. They both manage to get it stopped. Rocket gets to keep the position, but Danger Mouse is now absolutely glued to the Lamborghini and should be able to go for a move either at the start-finish straight or before the bus stop chicane. As we have a quick look, 46.7 for JP, 46.5 for Aurak, so definitely closing in a bit, and will stay for a bit here in this battle for 3rd place, as Danger Mouse is very close to Rocket, manages to keep it nice, clean and safe through turn 1. The tires on both these cars seem pretty good, just about equal. As we're about to have a look, not close enough to go for a move there, Danger Mouse, but definitely gained from that slipstream. Looked like a bit of a wide turn for Rocket, though it might just be a strategy to keep the tires alive. As slowly but surely HK has opened up a bit of a gap to Chaos Druid and is now trying to move forwards. Seems Rocket now maybe slowing down Danger Mouse a bit, as William is right on top of them, and let's see if Danger Mouse will be able to do anything into these corners. Not right now, so let's join our race leaders. You can see Aurak is very close now to JP. Seems JP's tires are now significantly worse, and in this lap, Aurak has closed quite a bit of the ground. Actually, very close there on that final corner. JP is forced to go defensive on the start-finish straight. Final lap of the race, as we see, JP goes defensive in turn 1 and Aurak keeps it nice and clean, stays on the back of that BMW, but decides to grab the inside line for turn 2. They both managed to navigate these corners. Bit of contact there, but didn't seem intentional. As we see them side by side, Aurak has the inside line, so a bit of advantage for him. JP thinks better of it, and Aurak manages to take the lead of the race in the final lap here of the sprint race. As we heard a bit of a moment here from someone, so let's watch. Danger Mouse is just behind Rocket. As we see, Rocket has a wide moment in the corner, pushes Danger Mouse off of the racing line, it slows HK down a bit, and that's very unfortunate for Danger Mouse. Had the pace definitely. Bit of a racing incident maybe, as far as I'm aware. This hasn't been reported into the stewards, and William is actually the big winner off of that. Interesting to see William actually doing the sprint race on the medium tires, but manages to inherit third place and is now going to be able to sit on that last step on the podium for the sprint race. Rounding out these last final corners, JP very close to Aurak, but doesn't have enough time left to mount an attack. Stars are significantly worse, a lot slower here on the final corner. As we go across the line, Aurak takes a sprint victory, JP takes second place, William gets third place. After that, bit of chaos. Danger Mouse in fourth, Chaos Root in fourth, HK takes 6th position, Rocket after that mistake able to get 7th position, Lord Hands moved up to 8th position, Zelda gets 9th position. As we see Crackavelli take 10th position, which will be converted to pole for the feature race, IGF in 11th, and a bit further back yet to complete their laps will be 12th place for Inorganic, 13th place for Nico, and Airtown Jenna absolutely dead front left tire, bit of damage as well, rounds up the last position, 14th for the sprint race. Not a fun race for Airtown Jenna for sure there. Interesting sprint race for sure. JP lost it there on the final lap, but yeah, Aurak had great pace and managed to stick it when he had the opportunity to. As we now take a short breather before we head into the feature race. As we're almost there for the feature race of round 4, we have a reverse top 10 grid. So the top 10 cars are reversed. Our race winner Aurak will start in 10th position. As I'll quickly go through the order here, we have a rolling start for the feature race, and we're in for 23 laps around Watkins Glen. So Krakavelli starts off in first place on the medium tires, Zelda on the mediums as well in second place, Lord Hands soft tires in third place, so that'll be either an interesting strategy or perhaps a mistake with the tire selection. Rocket starts off in fourth place with the soft tires as well. Another one that might be a strategy call or just an unfortunate error. HK fifth place with the medium tires. Chaos Druid with the medium tires as well. Danger Mouse likewise. William the same. JP ninth position with the medium tires as well on the BMW, and Aurak on the medium tires as well. As we go further back, IGF is on the mediums as well, as Inorganic is on the wet tires, which surely has to be a mistake. I really hope it's a mistake. Nico on the medium tires as well. Airdown Jenna is in 14th, and we have a 15th car here, Danos, on the medium tires as well. As we go up the order, and let's get started for the feature race, 23 laps at Watkins. As we go, nice start from Krakavelli. The Mazda has good acceleration and speed, so nothing too dangerous to happen with him. A bit further back, we see people already having a look on the inside. Zelda has a look on the inside and will have to go back and see what actually happened with Lord Hands here at the start. So on the soft tires, forgets to brake, I believe, manages to avoid Zelda, gives Krakavelli just a little bit of a nudge and goes wide of the corner. So considering what happened, it was fairly safe there. As we'll now have a look further up, we see Chaos doing it, HK trying to fight Rocket for that third place already. HK aggressive on the inside as both of them keep fighting for that position. HK on the inside, Rocket not giving up, not one bit, as HK still side by side by Rocket, takes the outside line on the left-hander here, neck and neck these two, and Chaos Druid is behind him just looking for a way through but not able to find one so far. HK almost outbreaks himself and lets Chaos Druid get side by side with him, as we see William overtake Rocket, and yeah, Rocket has just fallen down the order dramatically here. Chaos Druid on the inside of HK manages to get a stop. Bit of an accident there as Constantine effect with brakes on the hairpin there. Everyone seems to have gotten out of it safe and sound, as we see Chaos Druid in third place and HK right behind him. So let's have a quick look at our championship leaders at this round. JP up to 8th place, and Aurak is back into 10th. He was up to 9th place for a little bit, but didn't manage to keep the position, it seems. Rocket dives on the inside of Danger Mouse in turn 1, manages to get a nice clean overtake. As we now see Danger Mouse very much on the tail of that Lamborghini as JP is closing in on them. Danger Mouse has a look on the inside, thinks better of it, brakes nice and safe, decides to fight this one for another day. As we now see JP caught up to Danger Mouse, It'll be interesting to see if he's able to make a dive on the inside. Has a bit of a look. Does he have the traction? These two are running side by side, and JP manages to brake far later, uses the outside line through the right-hander, but overall a fantastic move there on the outside of that corner. Manages to use the traction and the power of the BMW to take that 7th place. And JP is now already having a look at the inside of HK. Manages to get that position as well. Danger Mouse has a bit of a moment going wide there. And this is all allowing Korak to slowly but surely catch up to them. So as they were through turn 1, let's have a quick look at what's happening out in the front. Crackavelli has a slight lead over Zelda, maybe just about a second or a little bit less, as they head into the chicane here. Both of them managed to keep it clean. Killswood a bit further behind them, and yeah, gaps are forming up to 6th position as HK is not letting JP go as easily as maybe JP would have hoped. So we'll stick with this battle for the moment. Danger Mouse trying to keep up with HK as Orak has now really closed in. As yeah, Killswood had a penalty. I believe that would be from either the chicane or the long right-hander right after it, but this has dropped him into 4th place and right on the front bumper of Rocket here before the start-finish straight. A bit further back, the cars are, as they were, just slowly but surely bunching up. HK is able to keep in the slipstream of JP and just not letting go. As we see, Crackavelli has opened up a bit of a bigger gap to Zelda. As we see, these 4 cars from 6th to 9th are really close together, bunched up, and I think everyone is just waiting for the car ahead to hopefully make a mistake. Let's see what's happening further down. Nico is in 11th place now, IGF in 12th place, Airtown Jenna 13th place, bit lonely, a lot of distance in front and in back. Danis is now in 14th position, and Inorganic has realized the tire mistake and made a pit for the mediums and is therefore a very long way back. Everyone pretty much as they were up to here. As we see, Danger Mouse had a 1-second penalty, and that promotes his teammate Orak into 8th position as HK keeps putting up pressure on JP, not letting him drive off in any way. Lord Hands has now managed to close up a bit on Danger Mouse, but I fear those soft tires are about to... yeah, they're about to give him a very hard time. Having a look at Rocket's tires, the soft tires are not faring well. So in the feature race, ×5 tire, where the front left and the rear left of this Lamborghini are very much suffering. They're about to start giving him a very hard time through the corners, and we can actually see Rocket is dropping off of the back of Chaos Druid a little bit, and Chaos Druid is closing in on William significantly. For the lead of the race, we see Zelda has must have been a moment here on this lap from Cracker Valley. I'm sure the gap was more significant, but now Zelda is a lot closer. As we're having a look, HK is still keeping very close with JP, essentially being dragged by that BMW through the whole track, and Aurak has now closed in on them and about to enjoy that slipstream as well. Oh, interesting to see. So we have our first reasonable pit stop by Rocket to get off the soft tires on lap 6. So this kind of puts Rocket into a two-stopper. As we see in turn 1, Aurak goes for a brave move in turn 1 to get past HK, who doesn't fight it too much, maybe didn't expect it. And it'd be interesting to see now what happens at the chicane, as the Mazda has a much higher speed here than the McLaren. So Aurak goes defensive, keeps the inside line, manages to keep the position, and HK is now stuck looking at least for a few corners at the back of this McLaren. Having a quick look further up, indeed in the last lap Zelda had closed off 7/10 to Cracker Valley, so that must have been a mistake by Crack there. But still, pretty much as they were, the gap hasn't changed much in the last lap here. As we see, William has opened up a bit of a buffer to Chaos Druid. JP slowly but surely, bit of a moment there on the exit, but slowly but surely catching up to Chaos Druid, as Aurak is now attempting to drive off of that Mazda, but it'll be very, very hard to do on the pit straight here. As we have a quick look here at IGF chasing Nico for 9th place. Bit of a larger gap here from 8th to 9th position. As we have a look now, AGF managed to take that 9th position. Or someone actually, we have someone actually pitted, probably Nico pitted. As now Danger Mouse is catching up slowly but surely to HK. Maybe Aurak is holding HK up a bit. Definitely on the straights, not sure so much through the corners. And yeah, HK had a 2.5 second penalty here, so this will promote Danger Mouse, no doubt, to 7th position. JP a lot closer to Chaos Druid now, so Chaos Druid has dropped off of the back of William. So let's see how this unfolds. It seems Aurak has also managed to catch up a bit. Again, bit of a sliding moment there from JP. Let's have a look at the tires. About under the midpoints for the BMW. significantly worse for the Lexus, and the two McLarens seem to have a bit better tires than the BMW. So Orax, at least so far, seems to have tire advantage on JP, but we've yet to see if he'll be able to make anything out of it. As we'll quickly jump forward, as we see Zelda now extremely close to the tail of Cracovelli, doesn't go for a move into the chicane, or rather, let's actually have a look. Did something happen here? So Zelda decides not to go for a move. Unfortunate, just brakes a bit too late, but waits for yeah. So Zelda waited, lost quite a few positions to wait for Cracovelli, which is a good thing to see, as surely that kind of ruined Cracovelli's race, and down into 4th position here after that unfortunate moment with Zelda. But yeah, I believe nothing was actually mentioned in the stewards for this, so maybe they had a few words after the race and cleared the air. This has promoted William into 1st position, and Chaos Druid is now in 2nd place. So the two Lexuses are actually leading the race, and JP still trying to catch up a bit. Cracovelli came in between him and Aurak right now, and a bit of a recovery drive there now for Cracovelli to try and gain back the positions. As we see, Aurak goes on the inside of Cracovelli for turn 1, manages to get the car stopped, get it turned, and takes 4th position off of Cracovelli. A move pretty much identical to the way Aurak managed to overtake the other Mazda in turn 1, and should now be able to try and benefit from the slipstream of the BMW ahead. As we see, the Lexus tires not looking very fresh, both for William and Chaos Druid, who has them a bit worse. And then off of the top 7 cars, only HK, Danger Mouse and Aurak seem to have better tire life than the others, and the McLarens are definitely using their car advantage for the tires. Good so far. As we now see, Cracovelli resigned to the same fate of being slowed down a bit on the straights by the McLaren, but not able to mount an attack. As we're nearing lap 9 for the race now, and it'll be interesting to see what the top 3 will be able to do with their tires, because if they're splitting it 11-12 laps, they'd have to do something magical. But yeah, JP goes into the pits on lap 9 together with William and Chaos Druid. Actually, this promotes Aurak into the race of the lead as he goes defensive for turn 1. Cracovelli being forced to the outside and not able to make a move stick. So right now we see that Cracovelli's tires are a lot more worn out than Aurak's. Aurak will surely be able to do this and maybe one more lap, and I'm not sure Cracovelli will be able to get that out of his tires. Danger Mouse are actually the best tires out of the top 3 so far, and HK is slowly but surely moving with them. As we're having a bit of a look here, interesting to see Chaos Druid manage to jump William in the pit stops fueled a lot less, and JP further back had to fuel a lot more in the very thirsty BMW, and that has lost a bit of time there from the pits. Let's go up to our battle for first place here. Crackavelli is still not giving up on Aurak. It'd be interesting to see if Crackavelli opts to pit in this lap. Would mean he'll have to do 13 laps on the next stint, which may prove difficult considering the tire life here at the end of lap 10. Yeah, so Crackavelli decides to go for one more lap. Hopefully the tires survive it. Danger Mouse now out of the final corner has a fantastic exit. Thinks better of it, doesn't jump to the inside. Manages to keep it nice and clean into the first corner. And will be interesting to see if now he'll be able to profit from that long straight to the chicane. A bit further back we see William actually managed to catch up to Karlsruhe, and they're now slowing each other maybe a bit, as this gives JP the opportunity to catch up to all of them. Crackavelli, bit of a wide moment there, the tires are just letting off and this lets Danger Mouse pass through without too much drama. And HK is now looking at his teammates, maybe thinking it's his turn to go for a move. Surely this lap Crackavelli will be pitting, and it'd be interesting to see if the McLarens pit as well on lap 11. Potentially their times seem fairly consistent, so maybe they've not lost too much time due to tire degradation. Maybe they can go for one more lap and benefit from better tires on the second stint, but I'm not sure that would be worth it, as Danger Mouse there and HK both have sliding moments on the exit of that chicane. As into the pits Aurak goes, promoting his teammate into first place for the moment. Crackavelli decides to go for one more lap, which seems very brave with that front left tire. HK goes in to change tires, and Karlsruhe is slowly but surely slowing down his teammate a bit here, or at least it looks that way. As we see JP go past Aurak and HK. So the McLaren able to fuel a lot less than the BMW. There's still maybe a bigger gap there in between these cars, as Aurak is now once again behind JP. As we shall have a look, Danger Mouse managed to open up a bit of a gap to Crackavelli, whose front left tire just died 100%, so this will be very tricky last few corners for Crackavelli. Surely coming into the pits on this lap, surely. As we see Williams still pretty much glued to the back of Karlsruhe's car, unable to go for a move, or maybe just doesn't want to go for a move on his teammate for the moment. As we see Danger Mouse pit at the end of lap 12, Crackavelli finally comes into the pits as well. And we see Danger Mouse actually has a lot more fuel than Crackavelli, so should be able to fuel less, as well as Karlsruhe will now inherit the race lead. JP, slowly but surely driving his race absolutely in clean air and no one to bother him behind, as there's a significant gap to Orak behind him. So these cars are just driving their race. It'll be interesting to see how JP manages the tires, considering he pits a bit earlier than the McLaren of Orak behind him, and tire wear is already noticeable. Lord Hans unable to mount a move. The tires on Lord Hans at least look fairly okay, but I believe Lord Hans started on the soft tires and actually pitted for mediums, so 2 stopper here for Lord Hans for sure. As we go through the order just to see where everyone is at, Krakow is in 8th place now, a bit further behind his teammate. Watkins is in 9th place on the hard tires, so didn't have any confidence in the tire life of the mediums. Dana's, I believe, yet to pit, judging by the tire life in 10th place. Air down Jenna. Must have pitted already, I'm not sure, but hard to see from the lap time, but 13th place. IGF pitted, has brand new medium tires in 12th place. Nico in 13th place, and Inorganic is having a bad time. So those mediums are starting to go off, so another pit will be in place there for Inorganic and has a 2-second penalty as well. I have missed the move for the race lead there. Seems by a lot, so let's have a look as we head into turn 2. Turn 3 now, onto the straight. I think Chaos Druid had a bit of a moment there and touched the wall, and this actually promotes William into 1st place. It'll be interesting to see if William will now be able to open up a gap or not. So this has surely benefited JP now, being able to catch up to these two a little bit. And a bit further down we see Orak, Lord Hans and Danger Mouse pretty much as they were in terms of gaps in between them. Krakavelli has dropped down a bit off of his teammate, and Rocket is still there in 9th place. So let's see what we have here. JP shows off a couple of drift skills there in the right-hander on the exit, manages to keep it safely on the track, and is slowly but surely catching up to Chaos Druid and William as well. So it seems that William has managed to open up a bit of a gap to his teammate, uses a interesting wider line on the final corner, but it seems to work for him, as Chaos Druid didn't actually catch up a lot on the start-finish straight. JP now significantly closer, being able to focus on them up ahead. And as we see a quick comparison between the lap times of JP and Orak, 17.3 the last lap for JP and 17.5 for Orak. So lost a bit of ground there on the last lap, but gained half a second on Lord Hans, so a bit of breathing space there for Orak. The tires do look a lot healthier than JP's. As I seem to have missed a moment for a track limits penalty by Chaos Druid. Unfortunate, that's yet another track limit penalty we see here in the feature race, and this will definitely dropping probably right in front of JP. I'm not sure, maybe JP will be able to overtake As we see JP close in, but yeah, Chaos manages to keep second place. So despite that bigger penalty, Chaos manages to keep second place. As we see, Lord Hans must have had a penalty or a moment as Danger Mouse has overtaken him for 5th place. And we will now join JP and Chaos Druid as they round off the final corner. Chaos Druid goes defensive very early on, goes back to retake the outside line, very late braking from JP, but manages to keep it clean as we see Lord Hans jump into the pits once more to get off those medium tires. So this is now great news for William, who is alone there in first place. Let's have a bit of a look into the chicane. JP very close to Chaos Druid, but decides not to make any risky moves. And is now stuck to try and overtake that Lexus on the next little straight we have right after this corner. This has definitely allowed Aurak to gain ground on them and catch up to JP. But still the difference between William and JP is significant, and it'll be interesting to see if they'll be able to overcome it. So no attacks here in the hairpin. Last lap we saw through these corners JP closed the gap a lot to Chaos Druid, and especially on the final corner. So let's see if he'll be able to make something work out of it this time. As we round out lap 15, Chaos Druid goes again extremely defensive on the inside. Maybe doesn't want to give any slipstream at all to JP. Bit of a gap here. I don't think JP will be able to go for a move, so I'll have a very quick look further down. HK in 6th place, trying to catch up to Danger Mouse. Krakavelli further down into 7th place, Rocket in 8th, and Lord Hans came out on the pits in 9th position and is now driving a fairly lonely race. As we see, Airtown Jenna had a bit of a moment there, unfortunately, lost a lot of time and got reset back to track. As for the moment, I'll stick to this battle here for 2nd place, as before this round JP was our championship leader, so every point counts, especially after Aurak managed to snatch the race win in the sprint. Quick look at the tire situation. So Chaos's tires seem to be just marginally worse than JP's, at least the front left. But comparing JP and Aurak has significantly better life, and Danger Mouse has even better tires, as he pitted a lap later on lap 12, I believe. As we will now keep with JP, gets a far better exit out of turn 1, is absolutely glued to Chaos Druid this time around, should be able to make something work before the chicane even. Chaos Druid goes defensive, very close by these two, managed to make the corner, the both of them, despite being very close side by side into the entry of the chicane. But this loses both of them time, as surely now Aurak is looking at that fight and just biding his time. JP is still very close, but not close enough to go for a move on Chaos Druid. Very close here at these final corners. Maybe this time would be a good opportunity for a move on the start-finish straight. So we'll keep with this. Aurak very much closer this lap around. As we see JP already going, uses the slipstream as much as he can, but isn't able to go for a move in turn 1. Very close to Chaos Druid now. Interesting to see here heading into these corners, and now will he be able to go for a move at the chicane? So Chaos goes a bit defensive, positions the car there in the middle, and nothing much JP can do. This is costing JP a lot of time and a lot of wear, surely, as Chaos Druid finally gets the chicane wrong. 2.5 seconds of penalty, and this will be very bad for his race, as he has managed to keep JP behind him for quite a few laps. This has given William a lot of breathing space, but William's tires are not looking like they'll be able to happily make the end of the race. As Chaos Druid goes off the racing line, JP gets past, Aurak gets past without any issues, and is now significantly closer to his championship rival. And it seems that now JP is again stuck in a battle for second place, but will be on the defensive side this time around, as it seems that Aurak is a lot closer, as JP actually heads into the pit, so doesn't think he can make it on these tires to the end. William goes in the pits as well, and so does Chaos Druid, so this promotes Aurak and Danger Mouse into first and second place, which is significant. Surely these McLarens can do 5 more laps on these tires, and will be interesting to see what these late pit stops will be able to deliver. HK in third place should be able to finish the race on these tires as well. Crackavelli as well, as we see William caught out on the medium tires. JP chose the soft tires, and Chaos Druid on the medium tires as well. So JP should have a great advantage here with these tires. Let's see if he'll be able to jump positions further up on these tires. Quick look at the front. There's a comfortable gap between Aurak and Danger Mouse in first and second place. Danger Mouse tires a lot younger, so a bit more tire life in there, but I don't think this will trouble either one of them. HK has a bit worse tires, but is doing okay. These cars have actually lapped the 13th place car, as we will stick with JP for now, as he seems to be the closest battle, as he's catching up to William for 5th place. Bit of a moment here again from Airtown Jenna, as he's now being lapped by these cars. Bit hairy there. Airtown Jenna stayed to the outside of the track, as he couldn't really go off the racing line, but this has helped William at least for a couple of corners with JP right behind him. as we're seeing, Orak has opened up the gap a bit on his teammate in second position. The top 4 cars are pretty much as they were. As you see, maybe Krakavelli dropped down a little bit, and JP is still trying to get past William. A lot closer now, should be able to maybe eye a move fairly soon there. Kills through it in 7th place. I'm not sure if he'll be able to gain any ground unless something bad happens to one of the cars ahead. So we can see JP and William definitely catching up to Krakavelli. So 4th place is a possibility for either one of them. JP very close here on the exit of this hairpin, and pretty much stuck to the rear of that Lexus right now, as they've both gained a lot of ground on Krakavelli. Let's see how they manage the final corner. Good solid exit from both of them as we go across the line, and JP sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:45.6, and I don't think anyone will be able to challenge that, as no one else is on the soft tires as far as I'm aware. William now onto the back of Krakavelli, using that slipstream as protection from JP surely, but has to go for a move now. And these are catching up to Inorganic, about to lap him. As William goes for the move, manages to get it done before the chicane. As we now see JP in the back there. Tried to go on the outside, didn't manage to make it work this time around. And Krakavelli again will have a very hard time in those tires, in the car with these tires for the last couple of laps. Let's have a quick look at our race leader. Still seems to be managing the tires and the gap to his teammate nicely. These two seem to be lapping at, yeah, about the same pace. Actually, the last 2 laps combined are at exactly the same pace. As we see JP now getting ready to get past Krakavelli. Be interesting to see if he'll be able to do it here. Has a look on the inside, a very brave, efficient stop with the soft tires, and manages to get the position into turn 1. Very close by here, the two of them, but the BMW should be safe with the power it has and the straight line speed. As we head into a blue flag, I would imagine because of a lapped car. Yeah, Danis was just waiting there not to interfere with these races. As JP has now surely taken 5th position, and unless his tires die, Krakavelli wouldn't be a worry for him. Kills through it, still a long way back from Krakavelli, the next car in front. Would be interesting to see if he manages to catch up. As we see William catching up to HK, definitely about 5 seconds in the last 2 laps, so HK maybe had some track limit penalties again, as that's a significant difference. And we're having a look at our race leaders. The 2 McLarens still keeping formation in 1st and 2nd place, managing about the same gap as well. having a quick look down the order, Lord Hands in 8th position, 9 for Rocket, IGF in 10th, Nico in 11th, about to be lapped by the race leader, Inorganic in 12th place. On the soft tires, which is interesting, Airdown Jenna 13th place and Danis in 14th place with completely dead rear left tires. On the soft tires, not having a fun time, that's for sure. As we see our race leader, Aurak, now into the final lap of the race. Going around these corners for a final time. Managing those tires. Danger Mouse maybe just a bit closer now. Nothing that should worry the race leader here. As we see, actually, let's rewind a bit what happened between Krakavelli and JP. So JP in 5th place. Oh, that's very unfortunate. Very wide there, hits the wall and has damage now on the car. Wide again due to the dirty tires, I would imagine, and the damage. Picks up more damage and that promotes Krakavelli into 5th place. So that's very, very unfortunate for JP here. Losing a few points with that position that may prove to be absolutely vital. So there we go, the final turn of the feature race here at Watkins Glen. Aurak drove a fantastic steady race, swivels through the roads. Danger Mouse takes 2nd place. So with that, Aurak completes a fantastic double podium here. HK takes 3rd place, William takes 4th place, Krakavelli comes home in 5th position, and JP, after that mistake, comes in 6th place. Chaos Druids brings it home in 7th position. Lord Hands 8th place. Rocket a bit further back, about to finish in 9th place. Rocket goes across the line in 9th place. IGF should finish in 10th. Nico in 11th. Inorganic in 12th. Airtown Jenna in 13th. And Danis rounds the 14th place with the Renault. As we have a look at the standings in the championship after this very, very interesting race. So Aurak's double win here at Watkins Glen brings him actually tied for 1st place in the championship. So JP and Aurak are tied at 136 points, the both of them. Then we have Danger Mouse in 3rd place with 101 points, and Zelda in 4th place with 82 points. HK 5th place with 68 points. So that's our top 5. In the Constructors' Championship, we see McLaren in 1st place with 237 points, so that's 47 points ahead of 2nd place BMW team, and 3rd place is the Mazda team with 130 points. So after JP's fantastic double win at Suzuka last week, we see a great response by Aurak with a double win at Watkins, and these two are absolutely tied at points. And at the midpoint of the season, surely we have no idea who will win it, and this will be a very entertaining second half of the season to watch. And with that, I thank you very much for joining me for this round at Watkins Glen, and I shall see you again next week.